In the quiet suburbs of Oregon, Mark and Elena Bennett lived in a small house surrounded by a sunlit garden. After 7 long years of waiting, they finally welcomed their only son, Ethan. Ethan was their whole world. From the moment he was born, Mark and Elena tried to make up for the years of longing by showering him with unconditional love. Whatever he wanted, toys, games, iPads, fast food, he got. They only wished for their son to be happy, never lacking anything. But love, when given without boundaries, can turn into indulgence. Ethan grew up surrounded by comfort, never learning the small things, tidying his room, watering the plants, walking the dog. Most of his time was spent in front of a glowing screen, where blue light reflected off his indifferent face as endless videos rolled on. At night, when his room was lit only by the faint glow of his phone, Ethan heard strange voices whispering in his mind. They were soft, almost gentle. Just rest a little longer. You can do it tomorrow. Others are way better than you. Why bother trying? As long as you're happy, nothing else matters. He didn't know these were the 3 invisible demons of the digital age: laziness, comparison, and illusion. They didn't come from darkness, but from the endless stream of content he scrolled through every day: perfect faces, effortless success, hollow advice that slowly made people forget themselves. Day by day, Ethan sank deeper into the virtual world. He skipped breakfast, slept till noon, snapped at his parents when they called. His grades plummeted, friends drifted away. Surrounded by thousands of connections, he had never felt so alone. One evening, Elena set dinner on the table and said softly, "Son, your father and I just want you to go outside for a bit, find a job. Meet real people. Staying home like this isn't good for you." Ethan put down his spoon, his voice cold. "You never taught me anything different. All my life, everything's just been handed to me. And now you blame me for being lazy?" Mark stood up, his voice trembling. "You're right. It's our fault for loving you too much and never teaching you how to live. But son, adults can't keep blaming the past. Only you can change yourself." The kitchen fell silent. Ethan saw the sadness in his father's eyes, then stormed upstairs and slammed the door. The next morning, for reasons he couldn't explain, Ethan woke earlier than usual. Sunlight spilled through the window, a light he hadn't noticed in a long time. He stepped outside with no phone, no headphones, only the strange freshness of the morning air. In the park nearby, he saw an old man kneeling by a bed of roses. Sweat glistened on his forehead, but he smiled warmly. "Look here," the man said, pointing to the weeds spreading around the roots. "If you don't pull these out, the flowers will die." Ethan frowned. "I'm not a gardener." The old man chuckled. "You don't have to be one to tend a garden. We all have a garden inside us." Ethan didn't fully understand, but for some reason, he stayed to help. The weeds were deep and stubborn, but the man, whose name was Samuel, guided him patiently. It took the whole morning, but together they cleared the bed. When they finished, Samuel opened a small wooden box and took out 3 slender bracelets that shimmered in the light. "You've pulled out the real weeds," he said. "Now it's time to learn how to pull out the weeds within." Samuel handed Ethan the bracelets. The bracelet of honesty glowed whenever he told a lie. The bracelet of discipline vibrated when he put off what needed to be done. The bracelet of compassion shone brightly whenever he helped someone. "These won't change you," Samuel said with a kind smile. "They only remind you. The change must come from you." Then he turned and walked toward the trees. Ethan blinked, and the old man was gone, swallowed by the morning light. From that day on, Ethan started to do things differently. He woke early to jog. Each time he wanted to quit, the bracelet of discipline buzzed softly, reminding him that discipline was never easy. When he lied to his mother about applying for a job, the bracelet of honesty glowed red with shame, until he went and did it for real. One afternoon, he helped an elderly neighbor carry groceries up the stairs, and the bracelet of compassion shone with a gentle blue light. The invisible demons still whispered, but their voices grew faint. They could no longer bring him down. Ethan felt stronger, lighter, and for the first time, hopeful. Time passed. Ethan found a job designing educational games for children, something he'd never imagined doing. His goal was to create games that taught kids that real value doesn't live on a screen, but in the world around them. One day, while jogging through the park, Ethan stopped before the same rosebed. The flowers were in full bloom, the weeds long gone. Samuel was nowhere in sight, only the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. Ethan looked down at his wrist. The 3 bracelets had stopped glowing long ago. But he smiled. He knew they weren't broken. He simply didn't need them anymore. Then he heard Samuel's familiar voice in his mind, soft as the wind. "Keep your inner garden free of weeds, Ethan. That's all that matters." Ethan looked up at the sky, where sunlight streamed through the branches, warm and radiant like a new beginning. In a world where people often lose themselves amid technology, comparison, and fatigue, Ethan learned the simplest truth of all. To change the world, you must first tend the garden within your own heart.